to properly tack with an English saddle. Okay, so the first step after you've groomed your horse is to get their saddle pad. So this is his saddle pad, and you're gonna start by putting it on the left side. We do everything on the left. And this goes where his withers are, and then this goes toward his back. So I'll show his back. Okay, so now I'm on the left side of Lazar. So I'm just going to throw his saddle pad on. And I like to pull his mane out. And there we go. And a good rule of thumb to make sure you have it in the right spot is this front part of the saddle pad should be in the middle of their shoulder. And that's kind of how you know. And then this is where his girth will go, so the strap should be even right there. Okay, so the next step is to get a half pad if your horse uses a half pad. Not all horses do. My horse does. So this is his half pad. This will go on top of the saddle pad, and this part will go on his withers, and then this will go toward the back. So that'll look like this. And it goes on just like that. Okay, so next is to grab your saddle. This is Lazar's saddle. And again, it's going to go on from the left side. This is the part that goes over his withers, and this is the back. This is where you sit on the saddle. So, I like to put his saddle on and then kind of adjust everything, because sometimes the saddle pad moves as he's standing and waiting for me to get everything put on him. So the next step is to grab his girth. Okay, so this is his girth, and basically it's going to go in this strap, and then use the first strap and the third strap. We don't use the middle one to attach the girth. And the correct way for his girth to go on is going to be with this little ring toward his chest, because that's used for breastplates and things like that. He doesn't have one, but that's still the proper way to put his girth on. So it's this. Okay, so it looks like this. Basically, I always start just on the first hole because I don't want it to be too tight on him. You always tighten your girth before you get on. So now I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm on the right side. And basically what you're going to do is grab it from the other side. Again, put it through this strap. And you're going to pull it up and tighten it. Horses tend to like to blow air into their stomachs when you're putting their girth on, which is why we always check it again before we ride to make sure that it's actually tight enough so your saddle doesn't slip. So that's good for this side. The next thing we're going to do is his bridle, and then he will be all tacked up. Okay, so this is his bridle. I did show in the last video how to put it on, but I'm going to do that again just because we're doing his full tack. He likes to act sleepy before we put his bridle on because he thinks that he can get out of working for the day, but it doesn't work. So I take his halter and I put it around his neck just so he doesn't move. And then I take his reins. There you go. Well, keep on the peppermints. So, okay, and then I take his reins and I throw them over his head. And then you're going to grab the nose band and you're going to pull it up while you get the bit in their mouth. And he's really good about taking his bit. Good boy. And then over his ears, and I pull his forelock out. And then you put the straps for his noseband under these straps. Tighten it to where it needs to be. You don't want it to be too tight, but you don't want it to be too loose. You want it to be able to sit comfortably on their face. And then you take his throat latch and make sure it's not twisted. So there we go. And you're also going to tighten it where it needs to be. So his is pretty obvious because it goes, this is his personal bridle, so it goes the same spot every time. But you tend to like to have like a 4-finger amount of room. There's a little loose, but you don't want it to be too loose and you don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to be like really tight on your throat where it's essentially choking. Okay, so that is his bridle all put on. Okay, so I'm back on the left side, and I'm going to show how to pull the stirrups down and then how to tighten your girth before you get on. So basically this is how we put our saddle away with the stirrups. We like to take the leathers and put it through just to keep it neat. But you basically take it out and then pull it down. And now your stirrup is in place where you need. If you need to adjust it, you just take this and pull the leather down and then adjust it with the buckle if you need them shorter or longer. And then you're going to flip this up and you're just going to pull and tighten it, and you want both straps to be matching. You don't want one to be tighter than the other. They should be even. But they can be on different notches on the other side, just as long as the ones on the same side are even. And that is how to properly tack your horse for a ride. That's all it takes. So then you just put your helmet on and your boots and you get on.